Listen, I hope everybody's well. It's Tuesday, it's September the 30th, 2014, and it's around lunchtime. And I just want to make the introduction in this little video by sort of telling you about I had a discussion with a man quite recently. And we were basically, you have to be reasonably sensitive about these matters. You can't attack people socially, although I do it all the time. But you have to be careful that you don't do it, because I don't want to offend anybody. I'm not here to offend anybody, alright? I'm an outlaw just giving my halfpenny's worth. It's not worth very much, okay? I just hope one or two people will get a grasp of some of it, that's all. And have some sort of merit and attach some sort of value to it. That's all. That's all really what it's about. I'm just asking people to think for themselves. That's really all. Anyway, having a chat with this man. He was in his early 50s, late 40s, early 50s. Very overweight. And I don't know how the discussion came up, but it came up about obesity in Ireland. And I was cognizant that he was obviously very overweight. I didn't want to offend him. So sort of skirting around the issues, but just basically saying that men over 50, the statistics are, you can read it here, we're the highest in Western Europe, here in Ireland. And what happens is, the reason for that is we mimic America socially and we mimic Germany economically. That's the way it works out in Ireland, basically, okay? And it was an introduction, without upsetting the guy or anything else, it was an introduction into the three I call them the three no-nos. There's another no-no as well, there's a couple of minor no-nos, but the three big ones are the three things that they never discuss with you in school. Alright, they made university a third level, tertiary level, but in the first two levels they never discuss these things. And you must remember, the vast majority of people do not go on a third level education. Okay, but even when they do, the vast majority of people would not deal with these. They're not exposed to these, the three no-nos I call them, in any manner, shape or form. And the first no-no is, nobody tells you anything about your body. And the reason for that is, before I go into the three no-nos, I have to tell you this, the reason why there are the three no-nos. The three no-nos are always connected to the money and sex paradigm, and it's the first part of it, alright? It's nothing to do really with sex, it's to do with the first paradigm, money. Who exercises the three no-nos on your behalf as you enter into the rest of life are the establishment, the social establishment, not the political establishment, not the government or anything like that. It's the social establishment, okay? And as we discuss this, you'll see what I mean, okay? And they have a whole professional class, and they look after these particular three interests that are totally pertinent to you, but you're not told anything about them as you go through school, as you go through and you get educated, okay? Supposedly educated. The first thing is to do with your body. And as I say, the reason they don't tell you that is because they do kind of like a switch. And the switch is it's a big lie. And what they tell you is that you live in houses. You don't live in this. You don't live inside this thing here. See this? You don't live inside this. No, you live in a house. It's a total lie. You shelter in a house, you live in this. This is what you live in, this thing here. Do you understand? When you're squeezed out of a woman's legs, when you're born, until the moment you die, you're inside this thing. Okay? This is what carries you through life. The Ferrari, the Maserati, the Spitfire, it's the vehicle. It's the machine that carries you through life. But you're never told how to look after it. You're never told how to maintain it. You're never told what to feed it. You're never told how to care for it. No. They have a class, a professional class, that does all that for you. They're called doctors and psychiatrists. They do all that. You don't have to worry about any of that. Even though it's your property. Even though it's you they're talking about. No. They'll do all that for you. Oh, for a fee, of course. We didn't mention the fee. No. Didn't mention the fee. Anyway, the next thing that they don't tell you about is your soul. Now, there's going to be loads of atheists out there, and they're going to be saying, lad, listen, you either believe in it or you don't. It's just down to belief, personal belief, okay? I personally happen to believe in another world that we know nothing about, alright? But there are people out there who don't, who refuse to believe it. And that's up to them. I'm not asking people to believe in it. I'm just simply telling you what happens. You're not told anything about your soul because they've another class called a priest class, and they look after it for you. And when you, in the Catholic order of things, when you kill somebody or you commit a serious social grievance, like you burn somebody's house down or burn a factory down and 100 people lose their jobs, you just go to a penguin and you kneel down in front of him and you tell him you're sorry and he forgives you. That's what they tell you. That's how the Catholic thing works. The Catholic ethos works. I am saying this because I was brought up in that. Okay? Like people say, well, it's not the... Listen, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They tell you, essentially, you're not responsible for your actions. Okay? And they have the power to forgive you your actions, your evil actions. Okay? And then the final thing is your money. It's the big no-no. And it's the big no-no because, well, it's nearly not. The first one's the big no-no. The first one, your body, is the big no-no. It's the most important thing of all. It's by far the most important thing. The money is secondary, definitely. And again, it's the old story. They don't tell you about how banking works. They don't tell you about insurance companies. They don't tell you, because the whole thing's a fraud. It's all a fraud system. It's all a system based on fraud and exploitation. That's essentially what it is. But you're told nothing about it. You don't have to worry about that. All you do is give us your money and we look after it for a fee, of course. And that's where it goes. That's where it is in life, the whole of life. So what you have is you have all these groups of professional people who are part of the establishment. I told you about the game. They're part of the game. They're like the overseers of the game. And it's very, very difficult to go through life without having some sort of interface with these people. Unless you're aware of them and you reject them. That's all. And you make sure you look after your own body. You care for it. If somebody gave you a Ferrari when you were born, somebody gave you a Ferrari, it cost, I don't know what Ferraris cost, I think it cost £250,000, something like that, €250,000. And they told you, this is what you have to do. And they didn't give you a handbook. Okay? And you stuff a load of garbage into it and all. It wouldn't last 3 months. It wouldn't last a week. But if they give you the handbook and you look after it, you top it up with oil, make sure there's enough water in it, check the brakes regularly, check the steering fluids and all of it, and look after it and don't race it too hard, the Ferrari will last you a lifetime. And that's what it is with your body. You have to find out as much as you can about your body. You have to find out what works for you, what foods agree with you. You have to exercise on a regular basis. You have to get lots of rest. And if you do those things, your body will carry you through the whole of life. You won't have to go near doctors and get injections and all that crapology and become an addict. Because that's essentially what a lot of people are. They won't admit it, but they are. And above all, you won't be clogging the health service up because of your obesity. Now, that's really all I wanted to say. That's the world we live in today. We live in a world where you're denied this basic information. You're denied lots of other things as well. I didn't mention the law because it's another thing. It's another major it's another fucking thing that they hide from you. But I don't want to go into that because it's all too complex. Just the 3 things are important to know. Because if you know those 3 things, if you know that you live in this body, you're entirely responsible for every single thing that you do. And above all, you're entirely responsible for your own money. If you know those 3 things, then you can carry yourself forward as an independent sort of entity. Other than that, you're going to end up like the 80% of the men that are over 50 in Ireland. Obese fools. Part of a horror movie. If you want the biggest horror movie in the world, go to a beach in Ireland and watch. Just sit and watch. You don't need to go near a horror movie after that. That's all you'll have to do.